Nella Malaysia tu usik kita, usik rijden. Naar Roma moet bij de heen lijkt toen het dan, de vakantie, lori en bij de Nationia, als bergen, niet bij de recuperen, maar zo zal het. Dat nemen, moet trasladar itu. Baik-baik kita bawa cuma trasladar. Aduh aku yang rumah maka orang tidak diusia maka aku yang maka trasladar. Yang tahu akan língua inglesa, também simultaneous translation. No simultaneous translation. Oh, yeah. Well, so I lost my excuse not to talk in that. But how se cau in inglês ou that? Dear members of the Press Council, esteemed journalists, I actually don't know whether I should say esteemed journalists, representatives of civil society, students. I wish to express my sincere appreciation to the Press Council and to everybody for this very important meeting here today. Actually, the first speech anyone done in Timor-Leste on artificial intelligence I did, it was me, in 2018 at Timor Plaza. It's an event hosted by the Secretary of State for Communications. He had asked me to talk about social media, which is becoming a silly topic, and so I decided to speak on artificial intelligence. Because I attended a 5-day program in Madrid a year or so before. I was at that time, and I'm still a member of the global leadership organization, which is made of more than 100 former presidents, prime ministers, but the only ones who were elected. If you are not elected, if you're former, you are not member of the council. I was on the executive council, and we attended, at least me, I attended 5 days of a very interesting, fascinating program on artificial intelligence. 2 Harvard professors, both were British, but they were Harvard professors. And I wouldn't say that was my first encounter with artificial intelligence. The only time that I actually sat there several days listening, taking notes. Partly because our group, the World Council, the World Leadership Council, we were trying to work with President Macron of France to initiate a treaty on artificial intelligence, an international treaty. And I have to say, it was President Macron of France who actually came up with the first concern idea about an international treaty. And so our group actually did prepare a long draft, a long paper on that. And of course we know a treaty as such, or any treaty, can take years before. So at the time when I spoke at Timor Plaza, well, most of you were not there, probably no one was there, very few people. And only one gentleman from the US Embassy, US aid was there, and the only one who came to thank me, to congratulate me for the speech, and because he understood what I was talking about. Today, from that time till today, it was a jump, it jumped. But back then, 2018, China was already investing $25 billion on artificial intelligence. No surprising that they are far ahead of everybody in the world on artificial intelligence and more. with the 9th anniversary of the press council, our press council. I presume yesterday and today you have had already valuable insights and opportunities, challenges, threats by all with artificial intelligence. And we have heard speakers from ABC Australia, Craig McCosker, Antonio Sampaio, and I understand from my notes here about the implications for digital future. Our National Commission on Authority also presented the papers. What we have before us, it brings obviously profound changes on how information is gathered, processed, disseminated, and so on and so on. The challenges, the opportunities, the benefits obviously are there, but also are similar to what has been social media, what has been Facebook, and all other devices of this nature, how they have been also cause of tremendous instability and even on violence. You might recall that was long before social media. The war in the Balkans in the 90s was largely the hatred, suspicion, misconceptions, prejudices that were, we can say, buried for 800 years, came back through television and radio in the Balkans by the Serbian leader group Milosevic against Muslims, Bosnians, and others, resulted in that genocide. Before that, in '94 in Rwanda, radio, at the time was particular radio, was used to instigate the Tutsi, Hutus genocide, the genocide in Rwanda. So can you imagine if at the time, without the incredible reach of social media, without the incredible reach and the manipulation of artificial intelligence, crimes like in Bosnia and Rwanda happened, let alone now. And you can just look at the information on Gaza or on other conflicts in the current India-Pakistan tensions, and the exodus of almost 1 million Rohingya fleeing Myanmar, Rakhine State, into Bangladesh. That was also caused in great part by social media. At least 800 Facebook accounts, fake accounts, controlled by the military, instigated the prejudices against the Rohingya, which then in turn led to the violence and fled to Bangladesh. I'm very familiar with that. For those who might not know, I know Myanmar almost inside out. I was there, the first probably anyone who's alive today and is foreign minister, prime minister, or head of state. I say I was there long before a lot of activism was known about Myanmar. July '94, I was in Karen territory running human rights and the media program for the democracy movement in Myanmar that at that time was sheltered, many of them in Karen territory. And so you have all of this, and more, of course. It is not only the dictator, democracy is also handled artificial intelligence, social media, to fit their policies, to justify or to mobilize support to their wars. And one is obviously the situation in Gaza, which happened to cause a lot of self-censorship in the Western media, in Australia, in UK, and elsewhere. So you can see the challenges to free press. It's not only in situations of complete absence of democracy in Western democracies. There is minimum, you can say, is self-censorship. So adding to that, we have the possible use of artificial intelligence that can, I wouldn't say, be the ultimate instrument of conflict. But if we analyze all of what I just said and go deeper into it, some of the causes of war, a lot happen like this. Of course, there are historical situations, historical prejudices, some based on maybe land disputes, river water disputes, some have to do with years and years of unsettled feelings of injustice by one community towards another or by one country towards another. Borders that were negotiated by the British with the Spaniards in Latin America, or in Africa by a group of characters at the Berlin Conference, just sitting there between the cigars and the cognac or port wine, they draw the maps of Africa. Luckily, that the African leaders post-independence were super smart, pragmatic, and saying, let's live with the colonial boundaries. Those colonial boundaries, well, look at Congo, and what a nightmare of a situation. For those of you who might know many of my other activities when I served, between 2012 I ended my first term in office as President of Timor Leste. Soon after, I was invited by the UN Secretary General to go to Guinea-Bissau to mediate there. Apparently successful, everybody were happy. The Africans were happy with what I did. So the Secretary General invited me back to New York in September 2014. And with the Security Council asked me to chair a panel called high-level independent panel on UN peace operations. And at the time, Ban Ki-moon, Secretary General, asked me, what should we do with Congo, DRC? because the UN has had peacekeeping there for more than 20 years, $1 billion a year, and no solution whatsoever. I said you should draw down the peacekeepers there. It is impossible for the UN to really be able to resolve the conflict there. Congo, DRC is the size of from Portugal all the way to cover all of Western Europe, and population is not even the population of Indonesia. Actually, the population maybe of Thailand, and that is DRC. And you want to control with 20,000 peacekeepers from different nationalities?